The U.S. campaign of airstrikes against ISIS, the radical militant group, has been underway for months. There has been some success as Iraqi forces, supported by U.S. airstrikes, take back key strategic towns from the militants. But there's also new evidence that ISIS attacks have actually increased since the air campaign began. NBC's Richard Engel reports from the Turkish-Syrian border.
The airstrikes are easy to count. Each plume of fire and debris has been numbered. The Pentagon says there have been 883 U.S. airstrikes on ISIS fighters, safe houses, and vehicles in Iraq and Syria. The reported cost since airstrikes began, $300,000 an hour. But the effectiveness of the air campaign is more difficult to quantify. New data obtained by NBCnews.com shows that ISIS attacks are actually on the rise.
ISIS attacks have been increasing steadily, particularly since the fall of Mosul, and then again increasing further since the beginning of airstrikes.
The respected UK-based Jane's Terrorism and Insurgency Center says there were just over 100 attacks by ISIS in Iraq in June and again in July. In August, when U.S. airstrikes began, the number actually jumped to 171 and stayed relatively high in September and October.
In response to the airstrikes, it's intensified its insurgency.
As we saw firsthand in Syria, airstrikes have played a major role in the recent battle for Kobani. But as U.S. military officials have said from the beginning, without an effective ground force, they aren't enough to stop ISIS.
Airstrikes alone are not going to do this, not going to fix this.
U.S. bombing has had an impact, forcing most ISIS fighters and all of its top leaders into hiding. But ISIS is still carrying out massacres. Lieutenant General Mike Barbero was one of the top U.S. commanders in Iraq. Like many of his colleagues, he has doubts about the U.S. strategy.
This ISIS state must be degraded and destroyed. You're not going to do that with the level of commitment we have now. It's too small, too late, and it's going to lead to a stalemate.
The picture isn't totally bleak. The Iraqi military says it's made progress north of Baghdad, retaking an oil refinery town from ISIS. But generally, the progress has been sporadic and piecemeal, and the data shows that the overall U.S. air campaign against ISIS hasn't turned the tide. Richard Engel, NBC News, Urfa, Turkey.
Up next, we have your Storm Tracker 33 forecast with meteorologist Rachel Penton. You're watching NBC 33 News, where we tell your stories every day. It's not just lava threatening families in the town of Puna on Hawaii's Big Island. Smoke from the lava flow is blowing straight toward people's homes. Malika Leakin reports.
John Hutchison has COPD, a lung disease that can make breathing very difficult.
I'm right next to the lava flow. It's right above my house. The wind has carried the smoke away until the last couple of days, so I haven't really been affected negatively until now. I don't want to leave. If I can't breathe, I can't stay.
Local healthcare providers say they've been treating a lot of patients in recent days for unexplained headaches. About 80% of the people who've come through Puna Community Medical Center in the last few days have been experiencing complications they believe is caused by the heavy smoke.
A lot of the patients that have been coming in have been having respiratory problems, especially the asthmatics. It has been pretty bad. I'm not an asthmatic, and it has affected me.
Public charter school Hawaii Academy of Arts and Science has one of 3 air quality monitoring stations set up by the Department of Health to measure the air quality index.
The smoke, it's been heavy, but the way it's been is in safe levels, so you can see it and you can tell it's there, but it's not too much of a safety risk.
But officials say they want to make sure the data they're collecting is as accurate and timely as possible, which is why Hawaii County plans to purchase portable monitoring devices.
Having that mobile capability, if we can get that, would definitely improve our ability to let the community know what they're seeing, what could be experienced in the future.
The health department's also working to make their air quality data available to the public in real time on a website.
Officials say residents downwind who may be sensitive to smoke or have respiratory problems are advised to take necessary precautions and to stay hydrated and remain indoors if possible. And we'll be right back. Friday was an exciting day at Bruce Lee High School where two standout athletes signed on to play at Louisiana universities. Senior center Akuya Times was surrounded by family as she signed the official papers to play softball at LSU next fall. And senior pitcher Austin Reach will be following in his father's footsteps. He'll be playing baseball at Northwestern State. Both of the athletes were beaming as they made their commitments official Friday morning.
I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, I'm happy, but I'm nervous, and I'm around people I've been around for a long time, so I'm happy that I get to share this moment with everybody.
It's always been a goal of mine. I've always dreamt of playing, and it's a big honor and opportunity to play and get to bring my talents to the next level.
Congratulations to both players. More than 600 children were adopted in Louisiana last year. And yesterday we got to meet some of those endearing kids at the annual adoption center at the governor's mansion. NBC 33's Talia Similian shares a few of those families' heartwarming stories.
More rewarding for us to see what we get out of them and what they give us. You know, just to see them blossom and to see them grow. The last 2 years have been amazing.
Lee Guidry and his wife Cindy have one biological daughter, 17-year-old Kaylee. It's because of Kaylee that the Guidry family added 2 more plates to the dinner table. She encouraged her parents to adopt and help them every step of the way.
I thought if we could save children and give them opportunities that they wouldn't normally have and keep them for a lifetime, that our family would grow and just be so much more expanded and they'd have so much more opportunity.
Kaylee yearned to have a little brother and sister to call her own. She got her wish with little Lee and Jolie, who are actually biological siblings.
These kids have not only been saved, but they've saved us. They've given us a backbone, they've given us a full sense of family, and we're so much closer now that we have 2 more to care and love for. It's a bigger family and it's more love to ever have.
The Guidrys have a very special bond with a fellow adopted family, the Prevost. Their adopted children are siblings.
I actually didn't realize the Guidrys were a cousin of my good friend. I always knew of them, but when somebody told me, hey, your buddy's cousins adopted Jaylee's brother and sister, I said, who's that? And then I put the puzzle pieces together and realized that they live 5 minutes from us and that they watched me grow up.
The Guidry and Prevost families are now forever entwined, and they couldn't be more thankful. Reese and Chrissy opened their arms and hearts to Jaylee after learning they weren't able to have children of their own. But life works in mysterious ways.
We took Jaylee in, and then 2 weeks later, we found out she was 3 months pregnant.
Jaylee changed their lives forever.
The moment she walked in our doors and I held her in my hands, we fell in love with her. I mean, she's like a gift from God dropped off at our front door, and there was no turning back.
In Baton Rouge, Talia Similian, NBC 33 News.
A popular cafe near LSU moved, but not too far away. Louis Cafe near LSU's campus moved right up the street. The owner tells us now they have more space and more parking. The old restaurant was located on West State Street and only had 4 parking spaces for customers. Now it has more than 30.
It's 09.
It's like, yeah, it's really close. I mean, there's way more room. Parking's good.
Louis originally was a very old school diner, and we've just tried to preserve that, serve good food, and with friendly service, and that's what we do.
Louis has served the LSU community for more than 70 years, and it's still open 24 hours a day. We're not done yet. We're back with the rest of NBC 33 News. Keep it right here.